Welcome and prepare to be enlightened as we embark on this exhilarating adventure through biopsychology, the intricate interplay between our brains and behavior.
In the grand tapestry of understanding human nature, biopsychology weaves together insight, curiosity, and the potential for transformative breakthroughs. Before we dig into the deeper ideas of biopsychology, let us first go into the meaning and grassroots of biopsychology. As defined by our friend Pickett, biopsychology is the branch of psychology that studies the biological foundations of behavior, emotions, and mental processes. So, let's explore the historical roots that trace back to the 18th and 19th centuries.
Here's an interesting little tidbit. Back in 3000 BC, the clever Egyptians had a different take on brains. They didn't really have the wow factor, nor were they viewed as top-notch gears that were so important. So, during their mummification process, brains were actually just tossed aside. They scoop them out through the nose and filled with a noggin with rosin instead. Can you believe it? Roughly between 400 BC and 280, there was quite the lively debate about where exactly our smarts came from. Aristotle, that wise philosopher, thought it was all about the heart, the real brain power center, if you will. But Herophilus, who was basically the anatomy guru of his time, had a hunch that ventricles were the real deal. Now, Hippocrates, another big name in ancient medicine, steps in and settles the score. He boldly proclaims that, yup, the brain is where all the intellect hangs out. But our story doesn't end there. Enter Galen, a great physician doing his thing in the Roman Empire. Thanks in part to Herophilus' influence, he takes the art of dissection to a whole new level. Galen observes and figures that messages are carried by fluids. Fluids flowing within the ventricles were believed to be continuous with fluids in the nerves.
Now in the 1600s to the 1800s, we start with the brilliant René Descartes, who believed in mind-body dualism. Yep, the mind is its own snazzy entity. Our scientists also at that time were getting busy figuring out the mysterious nervous system. And then, ta-da! Anton van Leeuwenhoek made the light microscope a game changer for science. But hold on to your hats, because Luigi Galvani and Émile du Bois-Reymond literally shocked us with the idea that electricity is how our nerves talk to each other. Their froggy experiments were a real shocker.
Fast forward to 1800s, Charles Bell and Francois Magendie discovered that our neurons communicate in one direction. They saw this with dyes and chemicals that were usually for cloth and photos. Franz Joseph Gall and Johann Caspar Spergheim put a lead on the pseudoscience of phrenology. By bicycle personality correlation, they told us that specific areas of the brain were responsible for specific functions or abilities, and these understandings should replace the unfounded idea of reading personality traits from the shape of the skull. Now, Paul Broca made a big speech about it, quite literally. He found that language functions are locked in the brain, and he even pinpointed speech production. Gustav Theodor Frisch and Edward Hitzig, well, they were the shock jocks of the time. They stimulated brains with electricity and showed us where the motor magic happens.
As we leap into the 1900s and beyond, neuroscience is on fire. New methods are like rocket fuel, propelling us into a world of understanding the brain like never before. Sure, the Egyptians and Greeks had their moments of enlightenment, but the real fireworks happened in modern times.
Today, we're peeling back the layers to reveal the fascinating divisions of biopsychology, each one offering its own unique perspective on the enigmatic workings of our mind.
Our odyssey begins with physiological psychology, the branch that seeks to understand how biological processes and neural mechanisms influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It involves direct manipulation and recording of the brain by primarily using surgical or electrical stimulation on animals for research. Cool, right? Did you know that there's a division that puts two large fields of psychology and pharmacology together? From the name itself, it is the study of how medication can change the way we think, feel, and behave. And the drugs that achieve these effects by acting in the nervous systems are called the psychoactive drugs. Sounds very mystique.
Another important division in the field of biopsychology is neuropsychology. That explores cases of individuals with brain damage. Remember that the brain is a big, complicated machine made up of lots of parts that all work together. So, when there's a damage of any kind, especially brain dents, neuropsychologists aim to figure out problems in brain function.
Yin and yang, Romeo and Juliet. What else? Mind and body. That's right, the next division is the branch of physiology, concerned with the relationship and interactions between the psyche and physical processes.
Cognitive neuroscience studies biological processes that underlie human cognition, especially the relation between brain structures, activity, and cognitive functions. It aims to understand how our brain processes information and how this relates to mental processes. It delves into the intricate workings of our mind and brain, unraveling the secrets behind our mental abilities and how they ultimately shape our perception of reality.
Phew, that was 5 divisions so far. Are you curious about the last? Well, the wait is over because the last division is comparative psychology, the study of mental faculties and behavior of animals rather than human beings. By comparing behaviors across species, we can better understand the evolution of behavior and mental processes and gain insights into how humans and animals think, feel, and interact with their environment.
Finally! For the grand finale, let's give the spotlight to the rightful main character of the story. Drumroll please! The extraordinary brain! Throughout its existence, the human brain has been sculpted by the forces of evolution. As our brains have evolved and transformed, so too have our behavior and understanding of the world around us. Remember, the brain's evolution is a captivating dance of genes and surroundings, crafting our cognitive story.
Now onto our first waypoint, brain expansion. Through evolutionary pressures, the human brain has significantly increased in size compared to our primate relatives. This enlargement is closely linked to the development of higher cognitive functions. This is really giving the bigger the size, the better.
For our next thrilling chapter in the saga of brain evolution, we dive into the incredible world of enlargement of specific brain regions.
Picture this. Specific brain areas like the prefrontal cortex and the neocortex have undergone jaw-dropping transformations throughout our evolutionary journey.
First up, meet the prefrontal powerhouse. This brain region is your go-to for social cognition and decision making.
But that's not all. Allow me to introduce to you the neocortex nexus. It handles everything from sensation to action, cognition, and even consciousness.
In the next segment, the brain took center stage with a singular mission: survival and adaptation.
Driven by the primal urge to find sustenance, their brain hones the art of locating life-sustaining nourishment.
But survival wasn't just about food. Danger lurked around every corner. The brain became a master of detecting threats, leading to the development of finely tuned instincts for avoiding peril.
And then there was the dance of reproduction, the epic quest to ensure the survival of our species. The brain orchestrated the delicate balance of finding the right mate and nurturing the next generation.
At this point, prepare to unlock the secrets of the mind in the fourth captivating chapter: social intelligence.
During this period, the brain evolved into a sophisticated tool, a chameleon finely tuned to navigate complex social hierarchies, recognize and commit group members to memory, and excel in the delicate art of effective cooperation.
Next is the pivotal chapter of tool use and problem solving in our journey of brain evolution.
Here, at the dawn of innovation, aka the glow up of inventions, the human brain forged a remarkable connection with tool use. Crafting and using tools demanded planning, creative problem solving, and manual dexterity.
And now, we dive into the ultimate leap in human evolution: language and communication.
In this groundbreaking era, the brain became a maestro, orchestrating the symphony of language. It became the vessel of transmitting knowledge across generations and coordinating a lot of group activities.
The brain even carved out specialized areas like Broca's and Wernicke's, fine-tuned for the art of language, enabling us to create, communicate, and collaborate on an unprecedented scale.
As we conclude, let's remember that the evolution of our minds is an unending odyssey, forever attuned to the rhythms of our ever-shifting world. Our brains are resilient architects, sculpting themselves in response to the ebb and flow of our surroundings and societies.
With each passing moment, we are but a chapter in the epic saga of cognitive evolution, and the next pages are yet to be written. Embrace the unfolding story, for our minds are boundless and our potentials are limitless. Thank you for watching!